Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. This is the ride home. Part 1. So, if you watched yesterday's videos, in Part 3 I was talking about pancake mix. I mentioned this morning. I completely forgot when I was describing how to make the biscuits with the pancake mix that I have. I completely left out the fact that you're supposed to have like 3/4 of a cup to a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. It doesn't really matter what cheese, but shredded cheddar. So it is a 3-ingredient biscuit. It's 2 cups of the pancake mix that I gave the ingredients for. I did remember to actually type the ingredients in. I still can't figure out how to comment with a picture on a video. I don't know if you can. I was going to take a picture of the ingredients instead of typing them out because it's a pain in the neck to type, but since I promised you I would put them there, I did. So in yesterday's video, Part 3, the ingredients for the pre-made pancake mix that I use is there. So if you want to make the biscuits, it's 2 cups of that mix. I think 3/4 of a cup of milk and half a cup cheese, and then like I explained the rest of it. 2 tablespoons butter and the garlic granules that you brush on top after it's cooked. So anyway, just wanted to put out there that addendum. I forgot to mention the cheese. I'm still curious as to whether or not, I know that the one channel shows up in my my single subscriber. I know I've got more than one now, but my main subscriber. I'm wondering if this afternoon channel, Expounding Upon the Toad, also shows up on his thing. Like he has like his thing that suggested things to watch, and I end up being on that thing for him. I'm wondering if both channels show up or if it's just the one. I could ask. I could call him right now and ask. Maybe I will. The problem, the last time I called that guy, I actually had a hard time. Like, I wanted the, I guess what I would need to do is connect my other phone to the car so that we can hear him through the car speakers, because the last time I'm trying to listen to him talk, but I also want the video to pick it up as well. So yeah, if I call him, I'll do it during part 2 if there's a part 2, and we'll put him on the loudspeaker. So that's the deal. See, I packed the car right this time. If you didn't watch the morning show, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So if I put my lunch bag in the car first, and then I put my briefcase, let's call it a briefcase with shoulder bag, with my laptop in it. If I put that in second at an angle, when people do this kind of stuff, hit the brakes in front of me for no reason, when I hit the brakes, my briefcase doesn't fall forward and all the stuff come flying out of it. So that's the advantage to packing the car correctly. That billboard is glitching out. Remotely tomorrow, so there will likely be no videos. There will be definitely no driving videos. Maybe I'll do one of those short little videos I talked about doing before. I don't know. The ducks are still currently in the office, which is becoming a bit of a pain in the neck because they stinky. They so stinky. Jeez Louise. I didn't have any time to do it. I was very busy all day long, but I meant to look up. I haven't made liver in a really long time, and that's what I'm making tonight, beef liver for dinner. I don't know breading it and deep frying it. How's that sound? That sound good? I think that's what I'll do. So I've exhausted the duck conversations. Any projects that I'm working on. I don't know if I ever told the story. It sounds like one of the ones I would have told early on. But one day, back when I was young and lived with my parents and had just gobs of disposable income, I decided, me and my friends decided to go on a road trip. I rented a car because I didn't have a car, so we wanted to go on a road trip. So I rented a car. We bought a video camera. And we decided to go to Boston. I can't remember why, but we decided to go to Boston, and we start going, really not paying attention. It must have been the weekend, or I had the week off, so there was no pressure, there was no time thing or anything like that. So we're going down the highway, and we get pulled over by the cops. Common theme in my stories now, but it doesn't really happen that often. But we get pulled over, and the guy asks us where we're going. We say we're going to Boston, and that immediately threw up a bunch of red flags, because apparently we weren't headed towards Boston. We were headed away from Boston when they pulled us over. We were going the wrong way. So they pull us over, they ask us a bunch of questions. They explain that Philadelphia to Boston is a drug route, and they've got a lot of drug issues. This was like a long time ago. It was like, it had to be 30 years ago. So it's a drug route. So they're telling us blah blah blah. They're being very kind and telling us exactly which way to come back from Boston when we're on our way back, so that they can nab us. We were literally dumb kids just driving around, like nothing nefarious. Well, almost nothing nefarious. So anyway, they were there for a while. Finally, the guy says, "We'd like to search your car." I'm like, "Okay," which is probably not what you're supposed to do. Like every video you see, you're supposed to get belligerent and argue with the cop until you're blue in the face and say, "I know my rights. I'm a sovereign citizen." I'm not like that. Like, you want to search my car? I don't care. Like, I mean, I would care if I felt like there was something to hide, but in general, I was a young, naive kid, and yeah, I said, "That's fine. You can search my car." So, like, one of the things he does, he asks us to get out of the car, like, go around to the front of the car. So me and my buddy, like, we watched way too much TV when we were kids, so we go around to the front of the car, we put our hands on the hood. He's like, no, just stand there. Like, you're not under arrest, just stand there. So they end up scouring the car. I mean, they were like pulling stuff apart. Like they were convinced that we were smuggling drugs, and only one of us was, and it wasn't me. And it was a very, very tiny amount for personal use. And who knows? Maybe that stuff was legal back then. But like that goes on forever, and they send us on our merry way. And as we're leaving, as we're driving by the cop, my buddy leans down, finds a coin on the floor, picks it up, and goes, "Look, I found a dime." I'm like, "Ah, you idiot!" It was very, very, very funny. It wasn't at the time. I was mad. Like, "What are you doing? Stop it!" But it was funny. The rest of the trip, there was a couple of funny things that happened. We went up to. We were looking for something. We went up there, and we ended up in Boston. I think we were you look for landmarks. I think we were looking for City Hall or something like that. So we asked someone in Boston, hey, blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure it was City Hall. I was like, where's City Hall? And the guy, and I can't imitate it, but it was so funny. It was like right out of like a TV sitcom. He like in this thick Boston accent. It's like, yeah, it's down there, right across from the Farmer's Market. It's like it sounded nothing like that. It was so much better in accent. But we just died because it looked like a normal person, but it talked like a Bostonian. On the way back, we never ran into those cops again, unfortunately. But on the way back, there was we stopped at a rest stop and to rest. I don't know, we got food, maybe we peed, who knows. And there was a car that had ended up parking like relatively close to us. It had people in it. So when we got back, we came up with a plan. We stood around the back of the car that I had rented, like it was our car, but we just stood there and looked shifty, like just like kind of trying to look like we're doing something nefarious. And so after a few minutes, like I start playing around with the trunk. What I'm actually doing is just unlocking the trunk with the keys. So I unlock the trunk. All three of us slowly climb into the trunk and pull it down. This was I believe it was a Taurus, and the back seat could push down. So what we did was we very slowly got into the car, put the seat up, we put the passenger seat down, like all of us got into position, like inside the car. So the people next to us, like they've just assumed that we've gotten into the trunk and closed the door for who knows why. We made it obvious so that they would look at us. And then all in unison, we sat up in the car, like just sat up and looked at the people in the other car. And they laughed and laughed and laughed. Because like we got into the trunk and then like minutes later, just sproing, we're in our seats. You probably don't think it's funny, but it's a funny story, trust me. You had to be there. Well, if you're one of two other people, you had to be there because you were there. The rest of you didn't have to be there. In fact, you weren't there. There was a time, I know I've told this story, but I'm just going to tell it again. For our honeymoon, we went to, we did a ancient civilizations cruise. So we went to all these places: Turkey, Egypt, like Cairo, Kusadasi, Capri, Pompeii. The whole, like it was 3 weeks. Like we toured the entire Mediterranean, like all the dead places and things like that. And that was the point of the story. Oh, so Rome was one of the places we went to. I'm going to talk about Pompeii at the end again too. But we went to Rome, and while we were in Rome, I think we started and ended in Rome, I think. And Egypt was one of the last places we went, and we got very sick after the trip to Egypt because the pyramids are just it's a garbage tourist trap, and it's stinky, and you got a bunch of people. Anyway, we got sick because we went into the pyramids. The curse. So anyway, while we were in Rome, one day we were hungry, and I don't know why. I've never learned my lesson, but we decided to go to McDonald's, and we don't speak Roman. We don't speak Italian, and it was an ordeal trying to order because I couldn't say the numbers in Roman, and there wasn't a thing right at the counter where I could point at. And like you would think, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a foreign country and I should learn the language, but it was literally an ordeal. It took us forever to order a couple of burgers and fries. Pompeii. So, Pompeii? Am I saying the right place? The place that got all covered in ash and you got all those plaster people because they filled it with hollows? I'm going to go with Pompeii. I'm pretty sure it's Pompeii. Doesn't freaking matter. The story goes like this. Insert the correct name of the city here. So back before it was completely buried by the volcano, like right now it's a tourist trappy kind of thing where you go and you look at all this stuff. And there's great history, and you find out that most of the people that lived there were crazy because of the lead pipes and things like that. They all had like Mad Hatter's disease, due to the mercury in the lead pipes or something like that. I don't know, but everybody there was a wacko. It was a big sex town. A lot of the buildings, the facades, like if it was a whorehouse, there was like a penis above the door. Some of them are still there. They have transcripts of, I guess, guides that they used to have. Like, people would like write a Yelp review on the different whores and the different whorehouses. So that they sell those things as souvenirs. But the thing is, it's just kind of a tourist trappy place now. But that's what's weird is before it got destroyed, that's also what it was. It was a tourist town. And obviously, they had different services back then, but it was essentially the same thing. It was like a tourist trappy kind of thing. So it was so tourist trappy that even after it was destroyed, it's still a tourist destination. We were supposed to go back to Europe a couple of years ago for my 50th birthday, but Fauci released the Fauci virus and everything went to crap, so that didn't happen.